There's got to be some kind of way that you can make all this right before... The hell?
Hello, Owen?
No.
So I know what you guys are thinking, but no, that is not the female that we're all awaiting to come out of the tube. That was just Crazy Owen's hallucination, thinking that, that was Stephanie in the tube, and Stephanie's informing them how to dispose of Jeremy. Now, he is thinking like, Jeremy is in the way. Jeremy was supposed to take the fall for him, get arrested. But, his hallucination is telling him, okay, he needs to get rid of Jeremy permanently. So he can't have any blood on his hands for police to tie it back to him. So the hallucination of Stephanie is telling him that, okay, he needs to get rid of him by using the drug in Rolf's lab. Maybe up in the dosage, maybe something similar to what he used to drug her all these years ago and knock her out. Maybe it could actually, take care of Jeremy once and for all. So he takes the hallucination up on our offer, and he intends to do that. Now, he did see Rolf later on, and he tells Rolf everything is fine, the conditions are good, and Rolf is saying, EJ and somebody else is coming in to oversee what's going on. Do you want to chat with him? So Owen's like, EJ is here? No, I need to skedaddle. I need to do what I'm doing. So of course, EJ is not aware that Owen is here, because that would cause a big problem at this point and probably implicate EJ in this whole kidnapping of Stephanie, which he's definitely not a part of. This is going to be a big mess when this all comes together. Now, Jeremy and Stephanie, they, fell asleep, and Stephanie was trying to get herself out the handcuffs to no avail, and now they're dehydrated, they're tired, and they're wishing that they did get the water that Owen was offering. But anyways, they're trying to figure themselves out of this, because Stephanie would be damned if she is in the same predicament and not trying to free herself from this all. She just feels bad for not only herself but for Jeremy, what Owen might do to him. Now Owen comes in and checks on them, and he still has a bottle of water. He tries to offer it to them, and they decline. He asks Jeremy how did he even know where to find Stephanie or himself. So he ends up telling him that he was not really that hard to track. He wasn't really stealthy as he thought. And Owen is feeling bad, because Owen is like, I know, I could have done a little bit better with just, being a lot more careful. But anyways, I'm going to make sure I take care of you once and for all. He does leave. At some point, EJ and Gwen, they do go to the lab to meet up with Rolf, and Stephanie and Jeremy hear them. Now, they're trying to scream and scream and scream, and nothing is happening because Rolf has his opera music turned way up loud. So nobody's able to actually hear them. Now, earlier, EJ was on the phone with Chad talking about the whole Stephanie thing, and Chad is just wanting to come home earlier with the kids, and EJ said, nonsense, stay where you're at. I will update you if anything changes. Everybody's there looking for her already. So at some point they come off the phone, and Gwen and Xander, it seems as if they had another nice night, and they're coming in and they're like, oh, nice to see EJ, and sharing breakfast with him and all that. And to his dismay at that too. Now, EJ's like, for somebody who is running a multinational company, why are you doing here night and day? Like, don't you have a company to run? Like, I heard it's really on the edge of really going bankrupt. So Xander hit him back with a clap back and saying, well, not that it's any of your business, but Titan would be okay. I mean, don't you have your own family company to run? Oh, wait, didn't your siblings oust you out of that? So they were going tit for tat, and Gwen had to stop them and said, look, let's put a pencil in this, because Stephanie's out there missing, and we need to do what we have to do. Now, EJ come up with that and said, you're right, and I'm going to put up some money too, because I know that was hard for Titan to come up with that money to help Stephanie. Anyway, Xander leaves, and he talks to Gwen, and Gwen is like, I know you can be a little bit more hospitable to my guests, and I think I'm gonna recharge here. I had quite the night, and she's just going on and on to each, and you just like, I don't want to hear about that no more. Right. And for the record, like, I think you can actually do a lot better than Xander. So anyway, she said, let's move forward and think about what's more important about what we're trying to do and make money off of. So, Gwen is like, I can't wait to really get my hands on that cash. Like, it's gonna really rake in a lot of revenue. And he just said, not just for you, but for us. So they are itching to go to the lab to see what's really going on with Rolf. So anyways, Abe and Paulina and Theo, they were having an early breakfast, and they were talking about, just coming in together, and how Abe is on board with how Theo is feeling going back to work as the mayor's CEO. I just can't believe Abe really sit there with a plastic smile on his face saying, okay, I'm okay with it, even though you went behind your son's back and talked to EJ about just sabotaging his dream of doing that. He's not gonna be happy with you after this is all found out. But anyways, even Paulina found it very suspicious that, okay, I'm really, surprised that you're actually on board with this. But he said, he has to make his own decisions and blah, blah. At some point, Kate comes over and Kate is asking any of them if they heard about Stephanie, any words. So they said no. Everybody's just on alert, trying to find out where she could have been, where Jeremy could have taken her. And she said Roman has been hitting the pavement since morning to find out where she has been as well. Kate also met up with Xander to discuss their plans to get Titan back on top. So if you recall from episodes ago that she constructed this plan where Johnny was supposed to take Bonnie's book and make sure that, it's sold over to Demira, and somehow they're going to make this backfire so that Titan will be the victor on top. Again, I just can't believe Kate really went through with this, even though she's married to Johnny's grandfather. How this is going to look, especially towards him. Now, her and Xander are on the same board because they want this to really work out for Titan, especially for generational wealth to come through, and also for future generations to come to benefit from it, for Philip, for Victoria, for everybody else to come down the line and benefit from it. Now, Xander is saying, like, how is this going to work, especially how are you going to explain this towards Abe and Roman when you definitely backstab Johnny and Theo in the process. She said, like, look, Theo and Johnny are going to be okay. They can come back from this, but Titan can't survive this at all. And, I know Maggie's going to be upset, but at the same time, we have to take risks. Business is business, and it is what it is. Now, of course, they were trying to get Maggie, but Maggie wouldn't do that. She wanted to play it, safe and, put up the house of collateral. But yeah, there was no other way around it. This is what they want to do to make sure that the company floats on top. So essentially, they just really want to make sure that the book that Johnny is rushing to publication is going to backfire because, both Bonnie's and Stephanie's books are similar. So what Kate is intending to do is file this multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the mayor so that they can pay up and make sure that Titan benefits from that lawsuit, because at this point, they are bleeding money. At this point, they need the money. And this is the way how they want to go ahead and do this now. I just feel like this is going to backfire on Kate, and Roman is not going to like this at all, nor Abe. Now, Johnny, like the sorry excuse of a man he is, he comes into the mayor offices and he has the cup that his father gave him for Trey, right? Because he cannot keep it in the house he shares with Chanel. He brings it, instead of just being straightforward towards his wife and tell her that, look, I want to keep this. I don't care how you feel against my father, but I want to keep this. Like, I wish to keep this. Like, it shouldn't be a big deal. Like, stop let your wife rule you to the point where you can't make certain decisions for yourself. And if you want to have that relationship with your father, that's fine. Now, anyways, he brings the cup to work, and he's there going through some files, and Theo comes in just checking in on how things are going because he is supposed to come back to the chair in a few weeks. Now, Johnny is just briefing him on what he's planning to do, before he leaves, he said that he's rushing the book to publication. He tells Thea more about it, and normally the division is all about publishing manuscripts and all that. So this is a different turn for them. Romance novels are all the rage, so this is why he wanted to get a jump start on it. And Theo's offered. Theo asked him if he wants to stay on, if he's sure he wants to give up the seat. He said he's fine, it is yours. And he said he's sure you don't want a position here, I would make that happen. So he said, no, I don't want to get in trouble with my wife and all that. So he understands, but he said if you ever need to change your mind, I'm here, I'll make that happen. So he said sure, okay, right? So he did ask him about the cup, if this is a goodbye gift and all of that. But I don't know what he said exactly about that, but I'm just saying Johnny just needs to grow some balls. So Justin pays Alex a visit, and Alex is going in and out of his mind, worried about Stephanie, where she could be, where Jeremy is taking her allegedly. And Justin is just over there for some support and just to tell him that it's gonna work out. And Alex doesn't feel like that, because the more as time goes by, he's getting more antsy. He's getting to the point where something drastic has probably happened to her. And Justin said don't think like that, right? He is saying just have some faith, it will work out. Stephanie has a lot of people in her corner at ISC, the police department, everybody is looking out for her. There's somebody that even spotted Jeremy, and Alex is like, that didn't really go nowhere, because now they can't really pinpoint where exactly he could have had Stephanie. He told Justin about a dream that he had, that Adrian did say something similar to what he said about there is a happy ending, but at the same time he said, look, Adrian is dead, and that didn't, that wasn't a happy ending. I saw what I did to you. So I'm just, I really can't be as optimistic as you right now. Now, Justin urged them to get a shower, recharge a bit so that they can hit the ground running, because he is no good to Stephanie as he is right now. He did hesitate at first, but then he took up his dad's offer, and, he said he was going to do it. But I'm just saying, like, all of these companies, all these organizations looking for Stephanie, and you're telling me there's not one competent person that can really say, hey, let's look again at the hospital. Let's go, scrub the place upside and down. Because how is it that you don't know, you didn't look near the morgue, you didn't look through certain places? And also, how you guys have, you guys should have a knowledge of Stephanie being kidnapped before. She has had a history of that. You guys just nail it to Jeremy because of his, traumatic past with her. But why not look into the whole Owen thing since she was kidnapped by him? Why they didn't think about him being a possible stalker or a possible suspect? Like, I don't understand. But again, this is Salem PD, and the rest of them, they're very incompetent. So Dr. Rolf has EJ and Gwen, and he's there to just show them what's been cooking. They ask how long, what's the accurate timeline for when, this is going to happen, because, they want to know what are going to be the benefits of their investment. So Dr. Rolf tells them, hey, she's about to open her eyes in a few days. You want to come look at her. So they're spooked up, but they go look at her, and they talk about how this is going to revolutionize things and how things are going to shake up in Salem. And I'm here for it. Things need to be shaken up. So let's see what happens, and let's see who is really inside this tube. Again, my money is on Lexi, but that would definitely be a shaken up storyline to come, right? It's definitely gonna shake up things, because I don't think Abigail, her coming back, it's something. But Lexi, being that she's been gone for years, this is gonna be something new. But anyways, guys, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel, comment below your thoughts on today's episode. Let me know. I will see you guys tomorrow.